Sussex Sharks' Chris Liddle claimed the best figures of his T20 career as his 5 for 17 helped his side to an 11-run win over the Middlesex Panthers at Lord's. Michael Yardy won the toss and batted, but Sussex made an indifferent start, losing Luke Wright in the game's second over as Stephen Crook found the edge of his bat with his first ball. Runs were difficult to come by in the opening exchanges, and Machan could also have exited early. Instead, he was put down by the former Sussex player Ollie Rayner at mid-on. It didn't seem to bother, however, as Machan soon lobbed a simple catch to Neil Dexter off Crook to go for 9 at 17 for 2 in the third over. In fact, the 6 overs of power play earned the Sharks only 26 runs, and by the end of them they'd also lost Chris Nash, who found Malan instead of the boundary to go for 9. Middlesex had made a very similar start to their opening fixture of this season's competition against Surrey, but they ended up on the losing side, and again they couldn't press home their early advantage, with Murray Goodwin finding some decent form against them. Had Scott Styris in his first game for Sussex failed to dive in to avoid being run out, then things may have turned out differently. He survived that and benefited to the tune of 2 extra runs, as he and Goodwin tried to get the innings moving in the right direction. Styris could also have been taken by Malan at long on 25, and on many other days he may well have been out, but Middlesex, to their credit, did keep plugging away. Goodwin made a steady enough 43 and importantly had doubled the total in partnership with Styris before he was bowled around his legs by Toby Rowland-Jones. Styris, however, used his vast experience to help Sussex post a challenging total. This 6 into the grandstand off Crook took him close to his 50 as 16 runs came off the 18th over. But 2 runs short of that half-century, Styris struck his 30th delivery out to Gareth Berg at deep extra to leave his new side on 133 for 6 with 10 balls remaining. Ben Brown and Yardy both fell in the final over in the pursuit for late runs. Brown found Tom Smith right on the boundary's edge, and Gareth Berg claimed his 3rd wicket off the last ball when Yardy skied him to Crook to leave Sussex on 143 for 8 from their allotted 20 overs. It was a gettable score for the home side, although for the most part they went about their pursuit of the runs at the start in a careful manner, mindful of keeping wickets in hand for later on. Malan did go after the bowling to try to make use of the power play, but he soon lost his partner Joe Denley, who was well held at long off as high skyer by Machan to give Liddle his first wicket. Sussex had given a debut to South African Dusty Turon, who had no luck in his first over. Twice Malan edged him to 3rd man as 11 came off that over. But to the last ball of it, Paul Stirling lobbed his shot to Yardy to leave the Panthers on 35 for 2 at the end of their 6 power play overs. Only 23 runs came off the next 5 as well as the required rate began to build up, and when Malan tried to release the shackles, he holed out off Will Beer after making 38 of the 58 runs on the board. Middlesex needed a partnership to keep them in the game, and they got one through Neil Dexter and Berg. After a sluggish start, Dexter thumped Turon for a 6, and he then followed that up with a thumping 4. The new boy was proving to be the most expensive bowler of the match. Berg also started to give the innings the impetus it needed, and having really struggled to find the fence for much of their reply, Middlesex started to race the total along just when they needed to do so. It all looked as if we would have a nail-biting finale. Dexter and Berg were timing their partnership extremely well as they added 53 for the 4th wicket in 5.5 overs. But Liddle was by now back on to bowl at the death, and he picked up the crucial wicket of Berg, who sliced his shot out to Nash to depart for 23. The target now came down to 22 needed off the last 2 overs, with Dexter well in by now and John Simpson looking to take his side over the line. But the penultimate over was where it all changed. Dexter on 36 tried to smash Liddle into next week, but instead edged to Brown behind. 2 balls later, Simpson couldn't quite get enough on this shot and was well taken by Gatting just inside the boundary of another steepler. And next ball, Liddle bowled Chris Rogers, who somehow managed to turn a delivery onto his own stumps. 3 wickets had come in the over, and Liddle had taken a career best 5 for 17 from his 4 overs. And with that, the game was up. 19 were wanted off the last over, and Rayner couldn't do enough against his former club being run out by Nash, as Rayner's new team fell 12 runs short of their target. They could only reach 132 for 8 by the close, which means 2 defeats from 2 games for them ahead of their trip to Hampshire on Monday. For Sussex, it was the perfect way to put their 2 no results behind them and an ideal way for Liddell to enjoy his day at the home of cricket. The 2 sides now meet again on Friday at the Pro Bids County Ground.